Okay, so this is the fourth video talking about how to use a metronome to get accuracy, and the accuracy will translate into speed, but don't think about speed because it'll make you stressed out. Anytime you set a goal with music and you start missing it, you'll start getting stressed. So try not to do goals. Focus on the practice of the process. All right. So we stopped at 200 on the metronome. All right. Now, one of the issues when you start playing with the metronome, you get that fast. Okay. It's just too many clicks. So what we do, okay, so we cut it in half. So we're at 200. And I know this is kind of amateurish here. So we're at 200. So we cut that in half to 100. Okay. Now see if this makes sense. So all we're going to do is we're going to play 2 notes per click. Now how do we count that? Man, I wish I could get rid of this reflection, but I can't. Okay. So we just count it as, the way I do it, I go 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Let's do that again. So I say 1 with each click just to get in sync with it, and then I will add the and. So we go 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Okay, try that. Experiment that with you doing that with your metronome. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Okay, once you can do that, I'm going to set this down. Then you play the banjo based on those beats you're saying. So it's 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 1 and 2 and. Now, of course, when you're playing along with me, you can just play along with the banjo. You don't have to worry about it. But when you're doing your independent practice, because you're going to do better if you do 30 seconds at a time instead of the 10 seconds we're doing. All right, so we're going to start with 100, okay, at 2 beats, which is the same as 200 with 1 beat. So let's try that. Okay. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. Okay, so we're going to go up in increments of 2, so we'll go to 102, okay? Now, if you get to a point where you're at the end of your speed, in other words, you can't play any faster, you may want to increase in ones, like 100 to 101. But we're going to do in 2s just so we can do more speeds, or we can go faster. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Four, 3, 4. Six. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2. 108. 3. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. Let's go up to 110. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 112, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 114, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 116, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 118, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 120, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 120 playing 2 beats per click, and this gets real confusing because if you go on the Hangout, people are talking about how fast they're playing. What they're really telling you is what the metronome's set at. So if you're playing 2 notes per click, you then divide by that number of 2, and you're playing at 60 beats a minute. You're playing at 60. So if you were to talk to a professional band and they said, how fast are you playing? You'd say, I'm playing at 60. The fact that the metronome set at 120 is totally irrelevant to it. Okay, so this is a fairly significant milestone, being able to play comfortably at 60. So once again, just to reinforce this, when you start your practice session, start about 20% less than what you finished at the day before. So if 60 was the fastest you could do, you'd start around 48, 45, whatever. And also we have, which I mentioned either in the beginning of this, we have something called the warm-up series that you can get from banjocompass.com. It's a purple book called the warm-up series, and all it does is play a different pattern, which is, okay? That pattern over and over along with a DVD. So you just watch the DVD and play along with it. And it also has a CD with it that you could load into your iPhone that starts at 1 speed, the track, for about 2 minutes. And by the end of the track, it's increased by about 10%. So if you use this series, which you're watching right now, and then get the warm-up series, the purple book, from banjocompass.com, you'll have 2 different rolls. All right, well, let's go to the next one.